it's got terrain follow. So if you've got a field like we have today, that's it's not dead flat, tilly, it'll actually stay at, if we set it at say 3 metres above the crop, it'll stay at 3 metres above the crop. Once it gets to those hills, it'll adjust itself. It'll run until it either runs out of battery, and it'll work out that needs, wherever it is in the field, it'll work out how much battery it needs to get back to home, or it'll run until it runs out of product and it'll return to home, and then it's just like a Formula 1 pit stop. You change over the battery, you fill the tank, it'll go out and it'll start where it stopped.
Using a drone to apply inputs is commonplace in many Asian countries and becoming more common in Europe. In this episode, I report from a field in Laois where we're using a drone to apply cover crops to a standing crop of barley as part of research in the Teagasc Burpmalt joint programme. And I chat to the drone owner Daniel O'Reilly from Aerial Ag Ireland.
It's a big machine. You've got about 1.5 meters from wingtip to wingtip. That would be the footprint. So we've got 6 blades on it, 6 props on it. And as I say, it's a 30 litre spraying tank and a 40 kilo spreading tank. It's got cameras on front and back, and it's also got a radar system, obstacle avoidance. So if you've got the likes of telephone lines, ESB cables or poles in the middle of your field, you can set the drone to avoid them and give you a buffer around them. It'll also pick up trees and stop in its tracks that are overhanging into fields. That's pretty much it.
I've seen you, even though it is quite a big machine, as I'm looking at it, you still picked it up and you placed it down. So
absolutely.
What, 50, 60 kilos,
look, you're probably looking at about 30 kilos without a payload in it. Okay. And then, just add your payload and it'll double that then.
Chuck in the battery then after that. Okay.
Yeah, your battery's about 5 kilos.
As I'm looking at this, you have a nice bit of a tank on it. It holds 30 kilos, is it, or something
40
like that?
kilos
40 kilos of what it'll hold into it. Yeah. Just in terms of, obviously it's a volumetric thing, so if it's different seeds, it's going to hold much different things.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you might describe to me then, so we're here inside of the field. Yeah. Let's just say we're a nice farmer's field, and this is a demonstration of what we're doing for this project. Yeah. What's the process? Describe the process to me when you come into the field to map out the field and do whatever you're going to do.
So it depending on the seed that you're putting down, you can do mixes of seeds. You can just put one single seed in it. Whatever you're putting down, whatever crop you're putting down, we'll have to calibrate it first. So first of all, we'll set out the field. So that's basically a matter of turning on the remote control, dropping a pin in each corner of the field, which will give you a polygon around the field. The drone technology will then work out the most efficient way to run that field, the quickest route to run it. And then it's a matter of calibrating the hopper it's a spinning disc hopper, in the drone as per the size of your seed. So if you put in a mix, depending on your application rate, so it might be say 15 kilos per hectare, we'll calibrate the drone, through the remote, and through the hopper to run that amount of seed out. And that's pretty much it.
And that senses the seed coming out at the bottom in terms of differential in weight, does it?
That's right. There's a scales on the actual drone, and it'll measure the flow, and it'll calibrate the drone to put out that amount of seed.
Okay. Yeah. So the drone is fairly big.
Yeah.
There's a little hopper in the middle of it. Is there a spreader on the bottom, like a disc spreader?
It's a spinning disc, and you get different sizes. So depending on your size of seed, you can swap them out. So there'll be different sizes with different size openings.
Okay. Yeah. So it's still relatively small. What's the bout width like when you're going up and down the field? How wide are the seeds spread when
you get a 9 metre swath? And then you can obviously do your overlap, but you'll get about 9 meters total.
9 meters total. And is that like a normal disc fertilizer spreader that farmers will recognise that you need to do an overlap, kind of overlap? Yeah. What's the overlap in?
You can set that as much as you want. You can do 2 meters, 5 meters, whatever way you want.
Yeah. So presumably in order for it to be even, there's a very prescribed thing for that. Yeah. So that drone then, as you send it out in the field, is going to go up and down in straight lines to map out the same as any kind of tram line, which will be between 5 and 7 meters
5 and 7 meters wide. Okay. It's got terrain follow. So if you've got a field like we have today, that's it's not dead flat, tilly, it'll actually stay at, if we set it at say 3 meters above the crop, it'll stay at 3 meters above the crop. Once it gets to those hills, it'll adjust itself. Okay. It'll go out, it'll run until it either runs out of battery, and it'll work out that needs, wherever it is in the field, it'll work out how much battery it needs to get back to home, or it'll run until it runs out of product and it'll return to home, and then it's just like a Formula 1 pit stop. You change over the battery, you fill the tank, it'll go out and it'll start where it stopped.
Okay. So does the speed of application change then, say, if you're going from 15 kgs to 60 kgs?
Yeah, it depends on your application rate. So that determines how quick or how slow the drone will fly. So that will determine how much area you cover in a day. So you might be putting, say, 5 kilos, just for argument's sake, 5 kilos per hectare versus 20 kilos a hectare. That'll adjust the speed that the drone's flying at, and that'll adjust your application.
Okay. So you've done a little bit of this spread and seed. It's certainly not the first field you've been in this year. Give us an idea about how long it would take you to spread, say, your 15 kilos or 5 kilos, whatever you pick. How long does it take you to get over the area?
We did 15 hectares there last week of maize, and we did that in 2 hours.
2 hours. Okay. Yeah. All right. Very good. So that's pretty quick when it's all.
And that was with your changeover, your refill, your calibration. That was from start to finish.
Okay.
And we ran out of seed, so that's the only reason we stopped the application.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Very good. And the accuracy of the dropping of the seed, around headlands or bits and pieces where you don't want. How accurate is it?
It's accurate. It's accurate to within, say, 10 centimeters. The problem, what we do is the biggest issue with the drones and the drone technology is the drift. So what we tend to do is we look at the conditions on the day, what way the wind's blowing, and we'll actually use the wind to our advantage. So if the wind's blowing, say, southeasterly, we won't bring the drone right to the edge of the field. We bring the drone about 2 or 3 meters in, and we let the drift carry the seed to the edge of the field. That's the way we'll operate it. And we do the same with the spraying as well.
Okay, very good.
Give ourselves a good buffer around the field.
So I suppose the issue that a lot of farmers will be interested in, because I think a lot of people might be interested in this, and as I was saying at the very start of this, it's a really neat way of spreading seed into a standing crop. Yeah. And I think it has potential real benefits, I think, for in terms of nitrates and various bits and pieces. Yeah. However, like all these kind of things, it comes with a cost. The way we currently do it, because every field's different, every crop's different, we charge either a half daily rate or a daily rate. And that covers, because we're travelling nationally, we're all over the country. We're going to Donegal, we're going down to Cork, we're up in Northern Ireland. That will cover us for our travel and everything. It's a 2-man job, because you got one guy who's piloting the drone, and then you got another person who's filling the tank and changing the batteries as ground crew. So we do a half daily rate of 600 excluding VAT, and then a full day of 1,200 excluding VAT. Okay, very good. And we get through, as I say, as many acres as we can, or many hectares as we can, but it all comes down to your application rate and how much we can cover. How much you're going to put on at the time. Okay, very good. Well, look, we'll come back at it again as soon as this is going, and we'll chat a bit more about it. Super. Thanks, fantastic. If you enjoyed the podcast, then recommend it to a friend or colleague. And as always, rate, review and follow on Apple or Spotify so you never miss an episode. And for more information, go to teagasc.ie. I'm Michael Hennessy. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back next week with more tillage news and advice.